Namaste everyone, welcome back to Dr. Pai's Astrology channel, and we are back with our ongoing series with Kṣaṇāti from Kṣaṇāti Jyotish. Namaste Kṣaṇāti, welcome back.
Namaste, Navjeet ji. I'm so excited to be here today. Many good things. I know it's been a few weeks since our last Nakshatra Dharma video, and I know many people are asking for this next installment. They were wondering if we were even going to finish. So yes, we're going to finish the whole series. Navjeet ji was sick and I was moving. I just moved into the city of Philadelphia, so we will be completing our series in these coming weeks.
Yeah, super excited. And today we are continuing with Hasta Nakshatra.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited as we get into the Virgo and Libra nakshatras. I will just start with a quick chant to our guru, Amritananda Mahima. Om. Om. Tvameva matacha pita tvameva bandhu cha saka tvameva vidya dravanam tvameva sarvam amriteshwaryai namah tvameva sarvam amriteshwaryai namah tvameva sarvam Mata Amritananda Mahima Maharani Ki Jai. Hari Om, Aum Namah Shivaya. Namaste, everyone. Okay, excellent. So we will get started with Hasta Nakshatra. Hasta Nakshatra is a Kanya of Virgo Nakshatra, which falls from the 10th degree of Kanya to the 23.2 degree of Kanya. So it's right in the heart of the Virgo Rashi. Now, the influencing planet is the moon. The nakshatra devata is Surya Deva. So again, there is a ruling devata of the sun. So this has a strong sun-moon combination, which means it's a very celestial nakshatra. Now, Hasta actually can mean the hand or the palm. And so the typical symbol for Hasta Nakshatra is the hand, and it's also a merchant nakshatra. So this is very important to understand. So first I would like to discuss this idea of it being the hand. Now, a lot of times when we talk about emotional maturity and being emotionally involved, we look at the Cancer nakshatras like Pushya and Ashlesha and Purnarvasu nakshatra. But this nakshatra has a lot about reciprocal relationships because the hand or the palm is represented as an open hand, which means to give. But also, one of the dominant images for Hasta Nakshatra is the fist. So the question is it the hand or the fist? And we can understand the Dharma of Hasta Nakshatra by understanding it's both. Now, on a deeper level, the Dharma of Hasta is all about knowledge. It's all about the seeking and the obtainment of knowledge. And it's a true perpetual student nakshatra. So, I mean, if this nakshatra is influencing your Dharma, it's important to be always learning. It's important to be always educating yourself. And I'll often say with the Hasta Nakshatra native, a wasted mind is a wasted life. Because if you have a Hasta Nakshatra position, God gave you intellectual strength. God gave you intellectual capacity. So therefore, it is part of your Dharma to use it. And if you're not using it, it is a Dharma. It is a violation of God's gift towards you. So don't be wasting your mind because you are a genius and you have the potential to truly learn and become a master of whatever it is that you're researching. Now, in the process of learning and knowledge and education, we fill our spirit with deep lessons and morals and academic knowledge of anything from medicine to science to religion to mathematics to interpersonal relationships. I mean, there's so many different areas that we can learn from. And one of the things that becomes the Dharma of Hasta Nakshatra, because we are this digesting of constant information, is actually to share the information, to give the message. And this is a strong messenger Dharma Nakshatra. But the energy of the hand here is that offering of it. But we know that when we offer knowledge, we get into the merchant energy, and this has a lot of Artabhava Dharma as well, because usually the Hasta native is very dedicated toward their job. They're very dedicated towards their family. They're very dedicated to being independent and being successful within their life. I mean, that's the influence of Surya Devata. Surya Devata wants to push you to your full potential here. It wants you to achieve the full extent of knowledge, higher education here. It wants to push you to the full extent of having a family, which means having a partner and having children. You don't have to have children, but usually the concept of family is important with this nakshatra, and that has to do with the influencing graha of the moon. But to understand that sometimes we can give, and give. We can give knowledge, which means we can teach for free. We can work very hard in our jobs, but we can work for less money than we deserve. We can do something and earn money from it through our occupation or through our knowledge, but it isn't fulfilling to our soul. And this is when the Dharma of the Hasta Nakshatra is the fist. Because we have to know when to defend ourselves like a boxer. Because if we're giving knowledge, but the question is that life is a two-way street. And if we're teaching, a deaf ear doesn't hear. And I was once told something that the ears, they're truly only capable of listening what we're ready to hear. And often the Hasta native wants to share information with everyone. They want to teach people. They want to give people rich information and knowledge, and they want to educate themselves, and they want everyone to be as educated as them, which is beautiful from an intentional perspective. But when we give, let's say, knowledge, but someone else isn't ready to hear it, it actually drains from our energy and it blocks our sun. Because for many of us, especially for Hasta natives, their knowledge is their truth. And when you speak your truth, if someone else doesn't respectfully receive the truth, what you have to offer, it hurts you and it hurts them. I mean, very oftentimes when our mind isn't open enough to receive what someone has to offer, we will get rebellious in our consciousness, which means, okay, someone is telling us this, but I think differently, so I'm automatically going to believe the opposite to be true because my consciousness wants to fight understanding what they're communicating to us. And so the true Hasta energy here is understanding, okay, I'm giving my knowledge, but what am I receiving? Am I also receiving knowledge? Am I receiving open-mindedness? And there's a huge dharmic vibration for the Hasta native on a dharmic level to be open-minded, because they can become very sharp in their intellect. And usually when they're sharp in their intellect, they believe that what I think, what I know, what my knowledge is, I believe that to be true. But our guru and many people will teach us that he or she who thinks they know everything really knows nothing at all. And that is about the humility of knowledge. Yes, do you deserve to be listened to? Well, only if you can remain teachable, only if your mind can remain malleable. I mean, like I said, this is a perpetual student dharma. which means just because you learn what you want to learn doesn't mean that knowledge is over. Whatever area of interest that you're invested in, you should try to understand what the opposite perception is. If you're a Republican, you should try to understand the Democrat. If you are a liberal, you should try to understand the conservative. If you're an atheist, you should try to understand the religion. If you are the religious, you should try to understand the atheist. This is the Dharma of the Hasta Nakshatra, is the open mind, because only truly will our message be open to receive when we are open ourselves. It's remaining teachable. It's remaining open. And we have to create a fist of defensiveness when someone is trying to take from us our knowledge. And by the way, another dharmic aspect here, as I mentioned, this is a merchant nakshatra. And that's very important because usually Hasta natives, they have a strong dharma, which is dedicated to their career, that is dedicated to their occupation. But especially in this modern world that we live in, just because we enjoy doing something doesn't mean that we earn money from it. And usually if we enjoy doing something, we'll do it for free. I mean, I can't tell you how many of my students, they graduate their Jyotish certification and then they want to take that knowledge and they want to go share it for free. Oh, let me do reading for this friend. Let me do reading for that person. Oh, this person asked me about my Jyotish and let me do this work for free. But there is this beautiful concept in the Vedic scriptures of Guru Dakshina. And Guru Dakshina suggests that if we're offering a divine wisdom from which we've dedicated our service to and studied, and we're offering it for free, and there's not a reciprocal exchange going on, guess what? It creates karma. So you're not serving yourself and you're not serving it for them by doing it for free. I mean, the closest I get to doing readings for free is that I do readings and the money goes to my guru. You know, like if you go to see Amma at any of her events in North America, she has 6 to 10 Vedic Jyotisha there, which I'm all very friends with. And many of them I've given free tickets to the Parashara conference this year, and they will be attending. But they are doing this beautiful service. But guess what? There's still a guru, Dakshina. Yes, maybe they're not putting the money in their pocket, but they're giving their money to our guru, Satguru Mata Amritananda Mayima, who does so much service for the world. So there's two merchant dharmic aspects here, which is if you're doing what you love, you have to be able to properly be compensated for it. And again, not always does that money the compensation. Sometimes we do exchanges. Like, for example, there's another top Ayurvedic doctor here in Philadelphia, Dr. Antonio, and I will do a reading for him, and he will give me marma therapy. Well, he's not paying money in my pocket, but guess what? There's still Guru Dakshina going on. He's sharing Ayurveda with me, and I share the Jyotish with him. There has to be an equal exchange, or otherwise it's creating karma. I don't care how much you do love what you're doing, Hasta. It is still an exchange. And then the other thing is the Hasta native, they can work very hard and do many hours and like a slave to their job. Like, even if you're getting paid, you can still be a slave to your job. And you're like, well, I'm earning money, so it's good, but that's not reciprocal either. There has to be, and that's the real evolutionary dharmic energy here, is to find a balanced and reciprocal exchange between the hand and the fist in terms of our job, in terms of our family relationships, in terms of our service. I mean, it's this constant balance of what am I offering, but what do I need to be protected from? What do I need to be defensive of? So that properly we can be a messenger. So again, there's really this duality between the open hand and the closed fist. and also this strong dharmic element of being open-minded so that people can properly receive what we have to offer them and what they have to offer us. So that's my brief elaboration on Hasta Nakshatra.
Thank you, Kṣaṇāti, for such a deep explanation on Hasta. Got a different perspective, yes, about exchanging and not creating karma is a really important point there.
Thank you, Navjeet. I hope all the hostas out there will remain open and understand the power of exchange. Okay,
Thank you.
next, my pleasure. So next we'll be talking about Chitra Nakshatra. Chitra Nakshatra is a cusp nakshatra, which means it starts at 23.2 degrees of Virgo and goes to 6.4 degrees of Libra, of Tula Rashi. Now, so that's a cusp. So again, it matches, it's the melding or the meeting of Virgo and Libra. Now, some important things to note about Chitra Nakshatra is its influencing graha is Mangal, is Mars. Its divine deity is Vishvakarma, the celestial architect. It is a symbol, or Chitra means the activator or the jewel or the bright. And it is associated with the Shudra, the servant caste. So understanding this, first we'll talk about this aspect of Vishvakarma, the celestial architect. So what is this? The celestial architect is an aspect or manifestation of Brahma. It is that which creates. And if you combine that energy of Vishvakarma with that influencing graha of Mars, this is one of the most action and energy-oriented nakshatra. It is what I call the catalyst. They have a dharma to be action and energy-oriented. This is a progressive nakshatra. The question is what am I doing next in my life? What am I creating? How am I progressing? It wants to, again, use knowledge and use action and use relationships to create positive energy, to create tejas, to create rajasic vibration, which is going to allow for the creation of all sorts of beautiful things. I mean, this is an instigator. This is the person who is very innovative. I mean, they create a lot of powerful direction and motivation and ambition for other people. They are truly the inspirers. This is an inspire-laden nakshatra. So the real dharma to activate this Vishvakarma Mangal union yoga energy is to be self-realized and have good confidence and self-esteem. And I always like to say there's a lot of alignment to Chitra Nakshatra Dharma where you are ambitious when you are motivated. I mean, the real dharma of this nakshatra, whenever I see this with the Chitra native, I really feel a lot of empathy and compassion for them, is they are deflated. They don't have ambition. They don't have motivation. They feel lazy. They feel sad. They feel depressed. I mean, and this could be associated with the Shudra vibration, which is in Chitra Nakshatra, which is, it's always about pushing through. I mean, I often say this is a war nakshatra. But I'm not, and obviously I've noticed this actually, there's a lot of people in the military with Chitra positions. But it's really about the war to fight to receive the next level of growth in life. Like, for example, this is a Shudra nakshatra. But, and this is one of the ways that I disagree with the caste system, you can be born in a certain caste, like you can be born within poverty. But if there's one thing that living in America has taught me from my family in Israel and Russia and Ukraine, being dirt poor, nearly homeless. My grandfather, him and his 8 siblings shared one bedroom. They all slept in the same bed. We were born dirt poor. But just because you're born in a specific caste doesn't mean that there's not a way out. How do you get to your next level in life? And this is what the Chitra Nakshatra Dharma is about, which is the jewel, which is seeing the potential, which is seeing the destiny, which is understanding, okay, well, I might have got dealt a tough hand, a tough set of circumstances in life. Maybe you were born with one parent. Maybe you were born, into a family of addiction or mental illness. Maybe you were born into poverty. But to just accept that and give up on getting past that challenge, that is not dharma. That is defeat. And in war, we never admit defeat. In war, we always keep fighting until there is freedom, until there is sovereignty, until there is independence. This is the individual of Chitra is fighting for their freedom so that they can create opportunities. This Chitra Nakshatra Dharma is about the creation of opportunities. And the question is what kind of opportunities have you created for yourself? You might have been born poor, but if you work your butt off and you go to school, guess what? You have a chance to be wealthy. If you were born into a family of addiction and alcoholism, you can choose a path of sobriety. This is fighting the war. This is not giving up defeat and allowing yourself to be conquered by a system, by a power, by an authority. This is the one that pushes past and says, you know what? I'm not going to throw a pity party. I'm not going to wah, woe is me, and cry about this. The question is, what can I do? Vishvakarma, the celestial architect, well, you can embody that energy in Chitra Nakshatra and create any opportunity for yourself. I mean, this is truly a limitless nakshatra, which if you set your mind to something, just because your family or so many people with Chitra, they'll say, I'm the first person in my family to do this. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. I'm the first person in my family to become a lawyer or a doctor. I'm the first person in my family to be sober. I'm the first person in my family to have a healthy marriage, to have a good relationship with their children. They are the pioneers because they break free from whatever kind of challenges in their life and they create opportunities for themselves. And when you truly create opportunities in life for yourself, guess what? You inspire. Like I said, these are the inspirers. And through your own ambition and motivation and willingness to do the hard work that it takes to get to the next level in life, you inspire your family, you inspire your children, you inspire other people to say, you know what, that individual, it didn't seem like they could do what they did, but they did do it. And guess what? I can do it too. So, I mean, I just get chills all over because the Chitra native, they show us that no matter how small of a country you are and another country is attacking you in this war, you can win your battle. And you can achieve freedom and independence and success and motivation. And through the spirit of Vishvakarma, create infinite possibilities for yourself and create infinite possibilities for other in this crazy war of life that we live.
Thank you, Kṣaṇāti.
My
That
pleasure.
was cool.
My pleasure. Power to you all, you Chitra people out there. Keep fighting the good fight. So the last nakshatra, which we will talk about today, is one of my favorite nakshatras because I obviously love any Rahu influenced nakshatra, is where we discuss Swati. Swati is in the heart of Libra and falls from 6.4 degrees Libra to 20 degrees of Tula Rashi. Its influencing graha is Rahu, Rahave, and its symbol is often seen as a piece of coral. Now, its deity is Lord Vayu, and its caste is the outcast. The outcast, which again, well, it's more like a butcher caste for Swati, but it's pretty close to the outcast. You know, it's definitely an outsider energy, but it's somewhat accepted as compared to like Vishaka, which is truly outsider, which we'll talk about in our next video. So again, Swati is like really good. It's Swati, really good, really great. But I like to translate it to as awesome. Swati means awesome. That which is powerful, that which is great, that which is in amazing, that which is, you know, again, the direct like Hindi translation is like very good, but I like to call it the awesome nakshatra. Now, understanding the nakshatra devata of Lord Vayu is very important here. Now, the real dharma influencing of Swati is to understand that connected with the butcher caste and all of these aspects is understanding you have a strong outsider dharma. This outsider dharma is influenced by Rahu, and it shows that like there's something very unique about you. Like in the gunas that are associated with Swati Nakshatra, this is Sukshma Guna, which means subtle, which means these people are very, very sensitive energetically to influences, which means they are like magic. They're like the wizards. I mean, some of the true, powerful, profound energy of Swati Nakshatra is mystical or occult potential. I mean, often these people are interested in Jyotish, Ayurveda, Vastu, tarot, shamanism. I mean, all of these occult esoteric things, which you find a lot with all of the Rahu Nakshatras. I mean, I talked about this with Ardra as well. So when you're really getting into Swati, Lord Vayu, I always like to tell a tale because Vayu means wind. And one of the strongest symbols of wind is a tornado. And so this is Rahu. So usually the Swati person, they have a lot of lessons to learn in their Dharma that is related to desire. At any given time in your life, you desire certain things as a Swati. And usually, because of Libra's influence here, you desire certain something materially and you desire something romantically. You desire, oh, you know, you're a young man and you're dating and you're like, this is typical for a Swati person. I know this person is my soulmate. I know this person is my soulmate. That's so Rahu, by the way, because yes, I like to believe in like the romantic thing, but it sounds a little mentally ill to know your soulmate before you even spend a lot of time with them. I mean, maybe you can figure it out, but anyway, that's another tangent. Or you say, okay, well, I really want to do this with my job. Like I want to become a doctor or I want to become a lawyer. And the Swati energy of the wind, it wants to align you to your soul's purpose. It wants to align you to your soul's destiny. But that's not always what we want, right? Does the butcher want to be a butcher? Generally not. I mean, I don't know if you meet your average butcher, maybe some of them are like, yeah, I really love chopping up animals. But for most part, it's probably a job you got to get used to. This is important because it shows a certain amount of humility or surrender to God's will. I mean, this is a strong aspect of Dharma for Swati Nakshatra, which is trying to be in alignment to God's will. But then we have to take our desire out of it. You want this person? Great. That's a desire. You want this job? Great. That's a desire. But the question is that your destiny? Is that your Dharma? So they do have to struggle, the Swati Nakshatra, with a Dharma. But it's a blessing in disguise. Because what happens with Swati Nakshatra is that you have your mind set on something and it's an attachment. And this is a non-attachment nakshatra. And so what happens? You're on your road to, let's say, becoming a doctor or getting married to this person. And then all of a sudden, Lord Swati comes in a tornado. Lord Vayu comes in this tornado and he knocks you off your feet and you fall right on your ass. And guess what? That direction that you were going in, it's not going to work out. That's what becomes clear when the tornado of Vayu comes and knocks you right on your bum. But in that process, that thing which you were going to, you have a moment of clarity. You have a God consciousness moment where you suddenly, all of a sudden, realize that person was not the right person for me. Maybe it's because they cheated on you. But guess what? You better find that out sooner than later. And maybe that job didn't work out because some other opportunity came into your place, or you keep failing your bar exam, or you keep failing your medical exam. And every time you keep going and going and going, you just get a worse score. And that's the universe's way of telling you that there is something greater meant for you. This means awesome nakshatra, which means you can't just be doing something because you think it's good, like it makes sense intellectually, like this is it. No, the Swati nakshatra native is meant for greatness. They are supposed to be incredible with what they are doing. They are supposed to have a higher destiny. And it doesn't always what you want. So, I mean, they have a lot of experiences in life that kind of knock them around and have them going back to square one, or as they say, going back to the drawing board. Because Lord Vayu, the road to righteousness is narrow. The alignment to Dharma is a narrow one. And Lord Vayu will keep you on this path, but it's not always what you want. But I often say this for Swati. If you could imagine everything that you want in your life and you getting it as that's your full direction, you would be selling yourself short. Because what Lord Vayu, and I always say this in general for God relationship, is that and my uncle said this, my late uncle Durgadas, who's passed, he used to say, the universe is conspiring for your happiness. And it might seem like the circumstances and conditions and situations that we go to are harming our happiness. But let me tell you, they want what is best for us. They want us to be God realized. They want us to be in service to each other. And they want us to embody this beautiful gift of love, which God has instilled in each of our hearts. And in order to do this, we must surrender. And there really is this sense of higher destiny. And usually because of the butcher and the Rahu, it's usually outside of the box. So this is actually a rebellious nakshatra. This is actually a non-conformist nakshatra, which means just because that partner for me looks good on paper and my parents want me to marry them, or just because my parents did this job and so they want me to do this job. Well, like I said, there's a mystical, occult, esoteric, outside of the box, dharmic vibration for the Swati. So you have to follow your heart's passion. Because trust me, my experience in working with Swati natives is that if they don't follow their heart's passion, Lord Vayu will come and throw them off their path so that they can get directed towards it. So again, the strong dharma of the Swati nakshatra is to embrace this outsider aspect, to embrace this kind of higher, my apologies, to embrace this higher caller vibration, to embrace this aspect of letting go of what we think feels good, looks good, smell good, tastes good, and actually be in alignment with this awesome energy so that our soul can be fulfilled, so that our soul can be satisfied, no matter how strange or untraditional it may sound. The real Dharma of the Swati Nakshatra is to follow our heart's true calling, is to follow our heart's passion. So I hope this elaboration on Hasta, Chitra, and Swati Nakshatra has been beneficial. And next time, Navjeet and I will be going over Vishaka, Anurad, and Jyesta Nakshatra.
Thank you so much, Kṣaṇāti, for your time and sharing your knowledge with us and continuing to doing this series all together has been so wonderful and so, learning curve for me. So thank you. Thank you for sharing with us.
My pleasure.
Namaste.
Namaste.